Welcome to Lunch Break Sports.
Welcome back to another episode of Lunch Break Sports. I am your host, Joey Sherman, and I am here with my co-host, Reed Benos.
What's up, everybody?
And right now we're going to be going over the different Round 1 playoff series in the Eastern Conference. Now we're going to go through the 4 Round 1 series and also the Knicks Round 2 series because that has already happened at the time we're recording this. Now, do you want to start with the Knicks-Hawks series?
Yeah, sure. So coming to the series, I wasn't hyped about it because we could have played, I think it was the Raptors,
Yep,
but
the Raptors.
we fell short of seed. And I thought I knew we could still win it, but I just didn't know how hard it would be. Once that first game happened, I was like, oh, this is gonna be so easy. But then those bad fourth quarters.
CJ McCollum just absolutely balling out of his mind. I was a little nervous, and I bet all the Knicks fans were just a little nervous. But we ended up taking control of the series, 50-point win. That was crazy at the end of the series to cap it off.
Mm-hmm.
And, one of the more surprising series in the playoffs was the Celtics versus 76ers series.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone was expecting the Celtics to win. They're the second seed. They got the second seed without their superstar player, Jason Tatum, which is even more surprising. I personally think they would have been the first seed if they had Jason Tatum. And so, yeah, everyone was thinking, oh, this is going to be easy for the Celtics. Celtics went up 3-1. Everyone was like, oh, yeah, this series is over. But then the Sixers actually upset them and won in 7.
And, Embiid came back for the series, which was kind of something that people were kind of forgetting about. The fact that Joel Embiid, he's a great player, and he wasn't there for the regular season, which is why the Sixers were a 7 seed. And Tatum was out in the last game, which is a crazy plot twist. And people still thought, okay, Tatum's out, but they got there without Tatum. They're still going to finish this off. But no, the Sixers complete the 3-1 upset. And, yeah, it was a surprising series to say the least. And a lot of Knicks fans were talking about in this Game 7, who would you rather play in the second round, the Celtics or the Sixers? Because the Celtics, without Jason Tatum, didn't have as much talent, per se, as the Sixers did at the time. But the Celtics were a winning franchise and know how to win. So the debate was, would you rather play against Jaylen Brown and a winning franchise, or would you rather play against Embiid and Maxey, a not winning franchise?
I personally would 100% rather play against the Sixers and Embiid. Personally, because even though Knicks fans tend to hate the Celtics fans, me personally, I hate the 76ers. They're my least favorite team in the NBA. I really am not a big fan of Joel Embiid.
Oh, my gosh.
So I think beating them is just such a nice feeling compared to beating the Celtics, even though the Celtics are our enemies.
For me personally, it came down to, the Knicks would have home court advantage against the Sixers, but not against the Celtics. But to be honest, it didn't even matter because the next series, Knicks versus Sixers, was a 4-0 sweep. We took over Philly. We killed them. Deuce was going crazy. Shamit was going crazy. Mikhail was going crazy. Cat was getting a bunch of assists. Brunson was going crazy. Everybody was just playing out of their minds. Mitch was actually making free throws, which might be the most surprising thing of all. But, it was an absolute blowout. We took over Philadelphia. The players in Philadelphia were not happy with it. Their stadium got taken over by Knicks fans just like 2 years ago. Felt great. Embiid was out for one of the games, and that was the game they played the best in. Now, isn't that strange, Reed? This team plays better without their best player. How would you feel if you were a Sixers fan knowing that?
I would be very upset considering the process, or people call him Embiid. He just makes their team we saw in Game 1 that we blew them out by about 40 points, and then in Game 2 we only won by, I think it was 6.
And that was when Embiid wasn't playing.
Yeah.
And honestly, one of the causes might be Embiid's obsession with flopping. Because I don't want to say that he's the only person that flops in the NBA, but he was on the floor 10 times in Game 3. Now, I'm no body scientist, but somebody who's 7 feet tall, a monster of a person, shouldn't fall down that easily so many times in a game. And he really wasn't getting the calls. And, when he falls on the floor and calls for a foul and doesn't get it, Knicks have a 5-on-4, and they convert those pretty efficiently. So I think the Sixers need to have a long talk with Joel Embiid about his future and his play style because he certainly could be a lot better than he actually is.
Yeah, and me personally, I think not only was the series bad for all of Philadelphia, but I think it was embarrassing for Embiid and the Sixers, especially when in Game 3, Embiid hit, like, it was a pretty easy bucket on Mitchell Robinson. He did the too small, and then a couple plays later, he actually got posterized
Absolutely
by Mitchell
postered.
Robinson.
And I thought you were going to allude to this when you said it's even more embarrassing for players. I think it's even more embarrassing for the Celtics fans because this team that just took them down while up 3-1 just got swept by a lower seed than they were. I mean, it's embarrassing for everybody except the Knicks. We can go to the next series, another embarrassing one, Pistons versus Magic. It seemed absolutely over. I mean, the Magic were up 3-1 in the series and up 20 points in the game, but they absolutely choked. Franz wasn't playing, which is a key piece, but Pistons ended up taking over, winning the series and advancing to the next round.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, they were up, I think it was like they were up over 20 points at one point in the game. And it was just, they have to hold, like, in those clutch moments, they have to hold on to that lead. I feel bad almost for Paulo because he did everything he can. The Magic aren't a great team, but Paulo was definitely doing everything that he could to try to beat the Pistons, and I would call that almost an accomplishment that they almost took down the 1 seed in the East.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. And then the next series was Cavs versus Raptors, which really should not have been close. The Cavs should have walked away with this one, but they got 1-7. Crazy RJ Barrett shot bounced up like the Halliburton shot. I don't like to mention Halliburton at all, but Halliburton shot goes up, drops back into the net. They go to 7. The Cavs win. Shouldn't have been close, though. It doesn't really seem like the Cavs are contenders, but, between the Pistons and the Cavs, these are two teams that the Knicks have beat in playoff series in recent history in the past 2 or 3 years. So I'm just wondering, who do we think is a better matchup for the Knicks? Because I think we can beat both of them. I think we're the best team in the East, and I think, we're going to make the finals. But who would we rather play?
I think I would rather play the Cavs, just because watching the Pistons in the regular season, seeing what they're actually capable of. They were capable of getting that first seed. Cade Cunningham is an amazing player. And the Cavs, they just weren't that exciting this season.
And, it's kind of similar to the Celtics versus Sixers. Would you rather have a team that knows how to win or a team with more talent? Because I think the Cavs do have more talent. They have Donovan Mitchell and they have James Harden and Evan Mobley. They are absolutely stacked, but they can't really win anything, which is why I think I would rather play the Pistons. But I think what's more important, which team, is I think it's most important that this series goes to 7. Because if this series goes to 7, they are going to be exhausted when they play the Knicks, who are coming off of a large rest, and they will be ready to win that game. And so we've kind of summarized the first round and a little bit of the second round of the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. And now we're going to do something a little different. We are going to do a Knicks jersey review. We had 2 segments in the past that talked about this, but we never actually got me or Reed's my opinion on the jerseys or Reed's opinion on the jerseys. So we are going to go through those right now, and we'll tell you what we think about the jerseys. And then after this, I'm going to calculate which jersey was the best overall. All right, so first we have the Swingman jersey, normal jersey. It's the blue one, the one we use at home. What do we think about this, Reed?
Classic jersey. Great. I really like it personally. I just like how it's simple. So I think I'm gonna give it 7 or 8.
What are you going to give?
I'll go with a 7. It's not
7?
amazing, but it's also.
I actually really like how bold the color is. I just think, I like saturated colors in sports. Obviously not to a crazy extent, but I think it's nice to have such bold colors. So I'm going to give this one an 8, actually. All right, and next we have the Kith City jerseys from 2023 and 2024, the blue and the white. Reed, what do you think about these?
I'm personally a bigger fan of the blue ones, just because I just feel like the font on the New York looks better on a solid blue rather than a white, and the white has a little bit like some black stripes on it. I mean, so does the blue, but they're not as visible. So I think I'm going to give the blue. I actually really like this jersey. I think I'm going to give it a 9. And then I think I'm going to give the white. I think it's still a solid jersey, so I think I'm going to give it a 7.
Okay, so for me, when I'm looking at these jerseys, I really feel the 2023 Knicks when I look at these Blue City jerseys. I mean, I really didn't like them at first, and they really, really grew on me. I mean, they look great. I like the drop shadow. It's maybe a little much, but I do think it's nice. It reminds me of that playoff run, at the Sixers, and yeah, it just brings back a lot of great memories.
Yeah.
Dante, I'm gonna give that one. I mean, I'm gonna give it a 9. I know that might sound crazy, but I'm gonna give it a 9. And for the other one, it brings back less great memories per se, but I think it looks better as a jersey than the white one does, or the blue one does. I think it's just more clean, and for that reason, I'm gonna give it also a 9.
Yeah, me personally, I think like compared to some of the other city jerseys, they're actually more simple because like I know you just said that they're doing a little bit too much. I actually really like them compared to some of the other city jerseys because a lot of those are extremely over the top.
All right, next we have this year's city jersey, which is the cream colored, matches the court, panel along the sides. I think it's pretty nice, Reed. What do you think?
Yeah, I actually really like the color on these. They're they're actually a little bit nicer, I think, than just the white. I like the cream more. I haven't really seen these worn in too many games, but I think I'm gonna put them in. I think I'm gonna give them an 8.
Now, for me, these jerseys look absolutely amazing in my eyes. I mean, I love the cream color. I like how it's a little bit off white. You got the checkerboard matching the court. But for me personally, the only drawback from these is that when you're watching the game and looking at the court, it's kind of hard to see where the players are. And for that reason, instead of giving it like a 10, I'll give it a 9.5. And next, we have the 2025 statement jerseys, which are the all black with the little panel of orange and blue grady on the sides. I know you like these a little bit. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I think these jerseys would have been their best jerseys if there was no color on the side of the jersey. I think that completely ruins the black. Like I just think it looks like kind of like cringe almost. So I think I'm gonna give these a 7. But if there was no color, they'd be way higher for
I
me.
think they're a little bit too simple. It kind of looks like a practice jersey to me, especially if you take away the colored panel. For that reason, I'm going to give it a 6. I know it might sound crazy. But next, we have something that is a little crazy. We have the Knicks alternate jersey from 2013 to 2014, the all orange jerseys that Carmelo Anthony wore. What do we think?
Yeah. So my opinion is that if these jerseys were like shirts, like that you wore every day, I think these would be hideous and like extremely embarrassing to wear in public. But since they're a basketball jersey, I think they could be cool. Like we've seen a lot of like, especially in football, there's neon green jerseys like that. Those would just look like horrible on normal shirts. But since it's a jersey, it actually could look cool. So I think these are like they're kind of still ugly, but like seeing Carmelo playing them, I think I'm gonna give it a 7.
Now, for me, I think these jerseys look absolutely terrible. I mean, I'm going to be brutally honest here. The only reason that I think they look good is because Carmelo Anthony wore them. He also was at Syracuse, and, he wore orange at Syracuse. He just really looks really good in an orange jersey, to be honest. He just has that kind of aura on him. If we're not if I've seen Carmelo Anthony wear it, I'll give it like a 7.5 or an 8. But if we're talking standalone jersey, I'm going to have to give this 3.5 out of 10. All right, next we have the classic New York Knicks jerseys from 1996 to 1997. I mean, a lot of people think these are the best Knicks jerseys of all time. You have the nice blue, orange, big jumbo letters. You have the black outline and the panel going down the side. What do we think about this one, Reed?
Yeah, I would have to agree with those people. I think these are the best Knicks jerseys I've ever seen, and they're classic. So I have to give those a 10 out of 10.
A 10 out of 10. Wow. Okay. Now, for me personally, I think these are, again, amazing jerseys. I do have a little bit of an issue with how big everything is. I mean, we could have gone a little smaller and a little longer. I don't know. It just seems like everything is bunched up a little bit, but I do think it's a great jersey. I would have to give this an 8.5 out of 10. I think that's the appropriate rating for it. And finally, we have the 2020 city jersey, which is the New York City Never Sleeps New York Knicks. Circle on the front, and then you have the panel on the side, and then on the back you have just plain white. So I'll talk first about this one. I think they nailed the panel on the side better than the current black jersey. I think it looks a little better. However, I still think it's not necessary. I also don't like the big circle on the front. I think it ruins it. For me personally, I am giving this a 5.5 out of 10.
For me, this is the worst Knicks jersey ever. This might even be just the worst jersey ever. I don't like the colors on the side, and I really, really don't like that circle, especially with the colors in the circle. I just think I think it looks stupid, and I'll give it a 3.
Now, I have the results from all the different Knicks jersey sections. We have Tara's votes, Levi's votes, my votes, and Reed's votes. And in last place is the worst voted jersey. We have the 2020 City jersey, the one we were talking about. The circle doesn't look great. The side panel's debatable. It's too plain and it's doing too much at the same time. It's really just kind of a nightmare, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And in third place, we have the 2024 City jersey, the white one with the pinstripes. I think it's a nice pick. It's a very clean-looking jersey. It's tough. I think it's a great jersey. In second place, we have the City jerseys from 2023. These are the blue ones. I think this is a solid pick. Brings back a lot of great memories. It's more of a nostalgia jersey, but it also looks pretty nice, and it really grew on me. And do you want to announce first place, Reed?
Yeah, in first place, as it should be, the classic 96, 97 jerseys. The blue ones that I personally give a 10. They should have won. They're the cleanest jerseys ever.
I mean, it's a very solid pick. In the 90s, a lot of Knicks players like Marcus Camby, I can really see him wearing those. But I think it's a great pick for the best Knicks jersey. Thank you so much, Reed, and let's go to the Western Conference. Western Conference Review. All right, I'm here for my next segment with Michael Kreyman.
Hello.
My co-host. Now we're going to do, me and Reed just did the Eastern Conference Review. Now me and Michael are going to do the Western Conference Review. And to start it off, we're going to talk about the Thunder versus Suns series. Now, as a Suns fan, you obviously know what happened. So take us through what happened in this series.
So as a Suns fan, this is pretty sad. I mean, they got swept by the Thunder, and the Thunder, the finalist contenders for a reason. Players in the game that were really good. I mean, Shea was playing amazing, had 30 each game, I think, something like that. Everyone played really well on the Thunder. As for the Suns, I don't know, it was all over the place, to be honest. I mean, first game we saw Booker. He was not really doing what he should, scoring wise, what he should be doing. And then they didn't give him any foul calls or anything. So that was game 1. But all the other games, nobody else on the Suns team really did well.
And correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I feel like Devin Booker as a player hasn't really taken that much of a step back. He's kind of been as good as he always was, but I feel like the league around him has gotten better while he's kind of stayed in the same place.
I guess, but to be honest, he has taken a little bit of a step back, at least from the 3-point shot. As watching him from Kentucky and translating to the NBA, I mean, he was ever since the 2021 series, he hasn't been shooting that well from 3-point range. And honestly, he says it himself. He needs to get better at shooting threes, but he's still I think a top 3 shooting guard in the league.
I mean, we all knew it was going to be tough for the Suns to have any chance against this type of team, especially as a play-in versus a 1 seed. Another series like that was the Blazers versus Spurs, but this series is a little more interesting because Victor Wembanyama had a concussion. I think in game 1. And the Blazers were able to steal one. Denny Avdia was playing really well. The whole team was playing well. I think Denny is a very underrated player in this league. He can really drive well. He can shoot, and he's a great leader for this team. I think with Dame coming back next year, they could be a sleeper 4 or 5 seed in the West.
100%.
But the Spurs did win in 5. Not too surprised.
And I think Wemby actually came back after the first game that he got his concussion. But yeah, that this series was very, the Suns could have beat them, and I feel like they could have gotten a game or 2 on the Spurs. And yeah, I mean that was basically that series.
And I mean, a lot of these series weren't that interesting. One of those kind of interesting was the Lakers versus Rockets series. I mean, the Lakers were up 3-0, and the
Yep.
Rockets started to come back a little. They won 2 straight, and people were saying, "Oh, like LeBron will be out of the GOAT conversation."
I
if
think
he
the
loses
big
the first
question
3-0.
here is what does this do to LeBron's legacy? When you have Luka, MVP caliber player, Austin Reeves who's out, and you have LeBron carrying the team. I mean, what does this do to LeBron's career? Does it make it better? Or does it make him better? Personally, I think it does because somebody like LeBron who is like I think he's the second best player of all time. He should be leading a team like that even when he's 40, 41.
I think it might be even 42.
Yeah, something like that. He's very old and still can average 20 points per game, which proves why he's the second best player of all time.
And I think the most interesting thing to me about the GOAT debate, I've had my opinions have shifted over time. I was MJ, then LeBron, then MJ, then LeBron. It's really difficult to gauge who was the better player because of they had such different careers.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael Jordan stayed in the same place, left for a different sport, and came back. Sure, he went to the Wizards, but that was definitely out of his prime. And he had a short-lived but very dominant career. And many people believe that if he stayed instead of going to baseball, he could have won 2 or 3 more championships. On the other hand, LeBron has kind of bounced around teams. He was on Cleveland. He left to go to Miami. He came back to Cleveland. He returned. He won a championship. He won championships in Miami. He won championships in LA. He's won a championship in every place he's been.
Yeah.
But the question is the loyalty aspect. And he's had a longer career than Michael Jordan by a long shot, which is why he's been able to get all of these statistical records. But I'm not sure how much that translates. Obviously, it has to have some impact because, points, rebounds, assists are pretty important. But it doesn't really tell the whole story. And so that's why I think the GOAT debate really won't ever have an answer because it depends on how you look at it. Do you care about 20 years of dominance or do you care about the greatest peak
The
of all
NBA
time?
and all was just way different back then. I mean, a lot more physical. Now there's a lot of flopping. And actually, Devin Booker said this in his post-game conference. He said, if the games go like how they're going right now, where the whole entire OKC lineup keeps on flopping, it's going to be like the WWE. And, I actually agree because the amount of time
In the sense that they're like acting?
Yeah, and Shea had more free throws than the whole entire Suns roster in the first game of the series.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So, to be honest, a lot of these Western Conference series have been very uninteresting, with the sole exception of this Timberwolves versus Nuggets series. I mean, this thing was insane.
This thing was crazy. I mean, honestly, the superstar here, in my opinion, was not Ant. It was Jaden McDaniels here. He had some crazy takes on post-game media where he said, whole entire Nuggets team can't guard me. Sadly,
and he really backed it up.
Yeah, sadly, DiVincenzo and Ant, DiVincenzo tore his Achilles and the number 0 curse still exists.
To provide a little bit of context, the number 0 curse we're referring to is last year, 3 different players wearing number 0 tore their Achilles. It was Jason Tatum, Tyrese Halliburton, and Damian Lillard. And this year, the next person to tear their Achilles during the playoffs was Dante DiVincenzo, who also wears 0. And the reason this Jaden McDaniels situation is so crucial is the fact that this team was led by Anthony Edwards. He was that guy here. And while Dante DiVincenzo definitely had a huge impact on this team, nothing close to Anthony Edwards. But the fact is both of them went down in the same game. Okay, and this made an opportunity for somebody to step up because they really didn't have anybody. And Ayo Dosunmu, one of the bench players that they've recently acquired for like a second-round pick, goes off for 43 points. And at that point, you would have to think if the Timberwolves were ever going to win that series without Anthony Edwards and without Dante DiVincenzo, it would be because of Ayo. And what happened was Ayo was out for the next game, and they really had that hole again. And Jaden McDaniels comes in clutch and wins this series for the Timberwolves 4-2 over the Nuggets, getting the upset over Nikola Jokic, who's an incredible player. I think this was a crazy series to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Jokic is considered one of the big MVPs, and when was the last time he's lost in like the first round? Like, I'm like
had to
thinking.
Be a very long time
yeah.
ago.
The Nuggets, the Nuggets have been very good, and I think they need to retool because it's not going well. They got rid of Michael Porter Jr. Now they have Cameron Johnson. But that doesn't seem to be the issue.
Now we're going to go into some NBA awards that we're going to give out to different players. So some of these have already been announced with the exception of MVP. And so we're going to go through who was picked and who we would have picked instead,
Yeah.
or if we would have picked the same pick. For the Rookie of the Year, it was Cooper Flagg. Cooper Flagg was a great player for the Mavericks. I still have Cooper Flagg as my Rookie of the Year. What do you think?
So during the season, Con Knipple was actually, when he beat Curry's rookie record for threes made, I was actually thinking that he would be, Rookie of the Year. But then I heard like this thing where if you put Cooper Flagg, he's been good and all that, but Con Knipple, if he were on the Mavericks, he would not do anything different. So, I mean, Cooper Flagg, you can argue terrible record compared to the Hornets, but he doesn't have the superstar power to help him.
And also, Con Knipple, he was a great piece for the Hornets, but he wasn't really the whole team like Cooper Flagg was for the Mavericks.
Yeah.
Especially since they got rid of, Anthony Davis.
And second of all, during both of the playing games, he played terrible. So I would also keep that in mind because it shouldn't, in my opinion, it shouldn't be just on the regular season. It should be actually playoff picture when players should actually perform, because this is what the season comes to. This is like the starting of like the playoffs and all that.
And also, like, even if it's not supposed to be about the play-in, like, whether we like it or not, it's certainly going to have a factor, like, in our brains about, like, the legitimacy of his season. All right, next was Clutch Player of the Year. Now, last year was Jalen Brunson. I thought it should have been Jalen Brunson. This year, Brunson hasn't been as clutch. Now, maybe that's because he hasn't been set up correctly in these situations to take the shot. Like, they pass it to Bridges against the Hawks one time, and one time he, like, stumbled out of bounds. That was kind of his fault. But I think it deserves to be Shea's award this year. I think he's been really clutch for this team in general. I mean, they're the number one team. I think he deserves it.
I agree. In the game that I talked earlier about, Shea had that buzzer beater 3, and it ended up winning them the game.
Against the Nuggets?
Yep.
He's just a great player. Defensive Player of the Year. Now, this one was pretty obvious. It's Victor Wembanyama. Everybody knows it. It was a unanimous vote. This guy is an absolute cheat code. He's too tall.
Yesterday was the first game of round 2. And I think he had like 10 or 12 blocks in that one game.
He had more blocks than he did points. It's absolutely absurd what he's doing. And it's just insanity to see from a player. But, I mean, it makes sense. He's so tall, he can just swat everything. He's definitely a defensive mastermind, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
He's just really great 100%. At defense.
100%.
Now, Most Improved Player. This is the first one that I disagree with. Now, it was given to Nickeil Alexander-Walker for taking a huge step up from a role player type vibe into like an actual like producer. What do you think?
I think it was between Nickeil and Denny Avdia, to be honest. If we look back at the Denny Avdia trade, it was like a second, I don't even know. It
was like Bub Carrington, like and a second round pick and somebody else. Like it was definitely
like
a steal.
Brogdon, I think.
Brogdon, yeah, it was definitely a steal for the Trailblazers. And for me personally, when I'm looking at these two candidates, one of them, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, went from basically like a nobody, like a good depth piece, to like an actual like decent player. Maybe not. Was he in the All-Star game? He wasn't in the All-Star game. No, but he's like a very solid player. He's like a decent player. But then you take Denny Avdia, who like was starting maybe a little lower than that, but like turned into a superstar.
Yeah.
I would rather, even if the difference isn't like as big as Nickeil Alexander-Walker's, I would rather have the guy who turned from a second-round pick, Malcolm Brogdon and Bub Carrington, into a superstar player that leads the team into the playoffs. That's my personal opinion. So I think this award should have gone to Denny Avdia.
I agree.
Now, the one award that hasn't been announced, MVP. Now, I'm going to go first with this one. Now, I know I previously said on this podcast that I didn't really buy into Victor Wembanyama and how legit he was as a player, but I've really watched more Spurs games after saying that, and I really couldn't disagree with myself more. He's been so good on the defensive end, unanimous defensive player of the year.
Yep.
He's great on offense. He's just a cheat code, and the injury concerns really haven't come up that much in his career. He's really handled them fairly well, and I wouldn't be surprised if he went down with some crazy injury soon, but for the time being, after the whole season's over, I have to go with Victor Wembanyama as my MVP. This is kind of a weaker year than last year, in my opinion, because, the Nuggets get out of the first round.
Yep.
Shea has relied more on his foul baiting, per se, and I don't really like the ethical hooping. So I'm going to go with Wemby. Who's your pick?
I have Shea, actually. I mean, even though he does, flop, and you could say whatever you want, at the end of the day, he leads his team to victory, and he's averaging crazy numbers. He's averaging crazy field goal percentage as a point guard, and an MVP is a player that could lead his team all by himself with like bums on their team. So that's basically what LeBron did if we go back some years. But yeah, I just don't think it's like Wemby, because Wemby, he's been somewhat injured during this season, but also he's not that, like, I don't know, he's not that great on offense where you could rely for him like every single possession. I feel like they don't feed him the ball every single possession because you have Stephon Castle and De'Aaron Fox, but I don't know, that's just me.
And you know who we haven't mentioned at all, Michael? We haven't really mentioned Nikola Jokic in this conversation. Now, like, I think he should have won MVP last year, if we're being honest. But I don't think he's got it this year. He's still averaging crazy numbers, but he really didn't lead his team to prominence like these other two guys have.
Yeah.
I mean, we look at the first round, the proof is in the pudding, you know?
Yep.
All right, well, thank you so much for being on the podcast, Michael, and let's
Nope,
go
no
into our
problem.
next segment right now.
Thank you.
Playoff Logan. All right, for my next segment, I'm here with Abby Munshine.
Hi.
And so we're going to be looking through the different playoff matches that happened in round one, and Abby's going to pick whichever logo looks better. So right now we have the Detroit Pistons versus the Orlando Magic. What do we think?
I'm going to go with the Orlando Magic because there's like stars on it, and I like blue and white and black.
Okay. All right. So next we have the Celtics versus the Sixers. The Celtics is a very classic logo. It's been around for a while.
I think the Celtics because there's a lot of, I don't know, there's like details and I like it.
Me personally, I think the Celtics logo is really good. Like, it's kind of just like a classic logo. They've kind of had it forever, and it's never really gotten old. So I agree with you on this one. Next, we have the Knicks versus the Hawks. What do we think?
The Knicks because I'm a Knicks fan. Go New York, go New York, go. And yeah.
Okay. Next, we have the Cavs versus the Raptors. Now, the Cavs, there's like a bigger logo where it has a sword through it, but this is just the logo that they usually use. And over here we have the Raptors, which is like it's a claw like on the basketball.
I'm going
What
to
do
go
we
with the Raptors. I think it's pretty sick.
All right. Next, we're going to the Western Conference. We have the Thunder versus the Suns. Now the Thunder over here, it's like lightning bolts, and then we have the Suns, which is the basketball is the sun. What do we think?
The Thunder because I could have drawn the Suns. Like, bro, that's easy.
All right. Next, we have the Spurs versus the Trailblazers. I think this is a no-brainer for me.
Really?
What do you think?
I guess the Trailblazers.
Really? I think the Trailblazers are like the worst logo in the league. Why do you
Really?
like the Trailblazers
I don't know.
logo?
It's just simple, collective.
Next, we have, these are two great logos. We have the Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Denver Nuggets. What do we think here? Because the Nuggets, it's like they're mining for gold in Denver. That's like the team logo. Then here it's the Timberwolves. It's like a wolf. What do we think?
I like the wolf because I like dogs a lot, and that's like kind of similar.
Okay. And last matchup, we have the Houston Rockets versus the Los Angeles Lakers. The Rocket, you can see the line in the R makes a rocket, and there's like a ring. And then the Lakers, just a classic logo.
The Lakers. That's like no explanation necessary.
All right, well, there you go. All right, thank you, Abby.
Thank you so much.
All right, so now I'm here with Noah Cytrynbaum,
What's up?
and we're going to do round 2 of playoff logos because Abby just did round 1. We're going to get Noah in here to do round 2 to match what's happening in the NBA right now. So we have in the Eastern Conference, first matchup is the Orlando Magic versus the Toronto Raptors. What do we think, Noah?
So, this is not only because I, as a lover of Montreal, I hate the city of Toronto, but the Toronto logo, if that's the red one, is the most ugly logo I have seen ever. What a sad, pathetic half attempt at a logo. Orlando Magic, nice color scheme. Simple. I don't love the stars. It seems too, like, phony patriotic almost. but the blue, the black, the white, then there's like a kind of teal in there. It's a really nice sort of black makes everything look better, and I like how the black makes the teal and the blue and I guess the white look better as well.
Okay.
So
All right, so we have the Orlando Magic winning that one against the Raptors. Our next matchup is between the Knicks and the Celtics. Now, we have the Celtics, obviously with the leprechaun there, classic logo. And the Knicks is a pretty classic logo as well. They both are good logos. I could see you going either way here. What do you think?
I'm going with the Celtics, and that's because the Celtics are paying homage to their culture as Irish Bostonians. The leprechaun, the clover, I guess the pipe, the shoes, the name Celtics. I mean, it should be Celtics, but the guy should be redhead, but that's besides the point. It's really going back to real Irishmen. Knicks, I mean, there's nothing there. It's a basketball, the New York Knicks. There's nothing having to do with New York as a city, with New Yorkers, with the team. It's just, hey, we're the Knicks, we play basketball.
And I will say that there are better Knicks alternate logos than this one, than their main one. But I do agree with you. If we're just talking solely logos, I think the Celtics have to win this one.
If they had the New York skyline or something relating to New York, then it would be okay, we're playing for New Yorkers, we're playing for the city of New York. This is just we're playing to play, we're playing a ball, and there's nothing there.
Now in the Western Conference, we have our first matchup of the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Los Angeles Lakers. And this is funny because this is actually a matchup in real life that unfortunately was 4-0 Oklahoma City. But what do we think about this? We have the OKC logo, which I think is more dynamic. I really like the color scheme. But when we have the Lakers logo, it's a very classic logo, but maybe not doing enough. What do you think?
This really puzzles me. OKC, they're called the Thunder, right?
Yep.
There's no thunder in the logo. I mean, I'm just so confused. It kind of reminds me of the Knicks. The Lakers came from Minnesota. And that, where they've got lots of lakes apparently. Lando Lakes.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't think to change the name to something specific to LA.
So, which logo's better?
Just because of the color scheme, Los Angeles Lakers on top there.
Okay. And we have our final matchup, the Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Portland Trailblazers. This isn't even close, in my opinion.
So, the Minnesota Timberwolves. I play for the New Jersey Wolves. I love Wolves. So I personally have an affinity for wolf logos. So that's one thing. Minnesota Timberwolves beat whoever these guys are square. Then the color scheme, much better for the Timberwolves than the Trailblazers. And the third thing is, I don't know what a Trailblazer is. I know what a Timberwolf is. So I think the Minnesota Trailblazers win.
Minnesota Timberwolves?
Yes. The Timberwolves win, hands down.
All right. Well, thank you so much,
Thank you
Noah.
for having me, Joey.
Of course. And let's go to that next segment.
It's time for a mystery segment.
All right. I'm here for my final segment with Leo de Picciotto.
Hello. Great to be back.
And we're going to do another mystery segment today. Leo doesn't know what the item is. It got spoiled to him that it was Quest chips. So I've decided to switch the item and then, unswitch the item. So we have Quest chips.
I knew it. I just want to say I knew it. I told him yesterday when it got spoiled. I knew he was going to do this.
I told him I would change it. I told him it was something in my folder. I'd lied. But, you do care about, your health. And these chips, they're supposed to be they're really good, nutrition on these chips. And, they're probably not as good as other chips because they're healthy, but I think they're definitely a great alternative. If you want to read the protein and the nutrition facts, on the back.
All right. 150 calories. I, for one, prefer them to be 80 calories, but you know.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Quest protein chips, nacho cheese flavored. 18 grams of protein,
Oh wow.
4 grams of carbs. Let's listen to this.
So it's supposed to be like a mimic of the Doritos, you know. So
Oh,
I mean,
that looks to be a lot of red 40 on there.
I mean, we are in a blue room, so that might be causing it to look so red. But I'm gonna put a flashlight on it. It's not that bad.
Oh yeah, it's not that bad.
It looks like dark red in
All
this
right.
room. All right.
Let's listen to the crunch.
So first, I want you to rate it how good it tastes on the first chip and then the fifth chip, because that's how you do protein snacks. Let's hear.
Okay.
It's good ASMR. What do we think? Just after the first chip.
I got a 10.
Thoughts? Any thoughts? Then give
I
it a
mean,
rating.
It's really good.
Oh, my
I like
half
it. It tastes like a less artificial Dorito, is the best way I can say it. It is really good. I like the base. It's a very nice texture.
So what's the score on initial taste?
Initial taste, we'll give it a solid 7 out of 10.
Okay, now we need to get to the fifth chip. So we're gonna have a few of these. Do you want to keep recording while we're eating it,
Yeah,
or do you want to
sure.
just cut back?
Let's just have some conversation.
All right.
Ah. Enjoy
gonna-
this ASMR.
I'm just gonna take 3 over here so I don't reach in the bag every time.
Oh, yeah. Watch this. 2 at once. My sister would not like this. She hates chewing.
This is for ASMR people out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. This is my 5th chip.
Okay, I
Let's
just
see
had
if it-
my 5th.
All right. Let's see it.
So let's get our thoughts after the 5th chip. I think these actually hold up really nicely compared to other protein snacks. They stay consistent with how good they are.
They are really consistent. The thing is, they're also pretty dry. Like, if you don't have a good amount of water, like, this is not going to go over well.
That's true.
It is. I mean, it's like nacho cheese. It's like it's definitely an alternative to, like, Doritos.
For sure. I think it's an alternative. It's not even that much worse than Doritos. I think it's definitely
Yeah.
getting playing time. So after the 5th chip, what's your rating? You want to bump it up a little bit?
After 5th rating, I think, what was the last I gave it?
7.
I gave it a 7. Honestly, I'd keep it the same. Like, it's pretty.
And so those were on the scale of just chips in general. Now let's talk protein chips.
Protein chips, 8. Like,
8. Okay.
Like, I had some really good protein chips, but, like, these are pretty good.
These are solid, yeah, and they do so many flavors. I could maybe do another surprise segment.
Mm.
They have the purple Dorito equivalent, the blue ones. They have
Well, I don't.
sour cream and onion chips. They have so many different flavors.
Mm.
Mexican street corn,
Ooh, I love street
Takis
corn.
flavor. So yeah, thank you so much for being on, Leo, for
Yeah, thank you for
this
having me
mystery
back.
segment, of course. And yeah, that's the episode. Thank you, and see you next time.
All right.